Folks, welcome back to Emerald Minecraft. Today we're going to be going over some more crafting recipes for the Redstone update that occurred in the beginning of 2013. We'll be going over the new items that are available and what they can do. So we're here on our crafting tower inside the Redstone area. Already grabbed everything I need to show you all the crafting recipes, so we'll just get through this real quick. The first thing that we have is called the Activator Rail. Activator rail is designed a lot like a regular rail, but instead of having our stick in the middle, like a regular rail does, we're actually going to put our rail on either side, and then we're going to put a redstone torch, which I don't have one in my inventory, so let me go ahead and make one real quick, in the middle, rather than our stick. Oh, I can actually click right. There we go. There we go, here's our activator rail. 6 iron ingots, 3 down each side. A stick on top in the middle, stick on bottom in the middle, and a redstone torch. This creates our activator rail. Use of an activator rail is to activate minecarts that go over top of the rail when they're powered. This can be 2 different minecarts that have been added into the game, specifically a minecart with TNT or a minecart with a hopper. As long as there's power in the activator rail, when the minecart goes over the activator rail, the minecart and whatever is inside of it will be activated and turned on. We'll go ahead and show you what those are right now. First is the TNT minecart, which we're going to be making with TNT, obviously. So, following our recipe with 4 sand blocks and a diamond and a cross of gunpowder. We go ahead and make our TNT, and you put the TNT inside the minecart like so. The minecart goes over an activator rail. TNT fuse will start. The faster the minecart's running over the rail, the larger the explosion will be. The other minecart we have uses a new item called the hopper. The hopper's crafting recipe uses 5 iron ingots in a V shape like this, and a box in the middle. What a hopper is used to do is it'll actually gather up items that fall into the top of it, and then it can place items inside containers that are on different sides of it. For example, if I were to put this hopper right here, any items that would fall into the top of the hopper, which has a 5-slot inventory, would be placed into the box below it at a rate of, I believe, 2.5 items per second, so about 5 items every 2 seconds. It can also place items into containers that are on either side of it. Hopper can also be crafted into a minecart, like so, in which case it'll pick up items that fall into the top of it and place them inside the minecart, just like any other minecart with a box has. Beyond that, we have an item called the dropper, which is kind of the opposite of a hopper and kind of like a dispenser. The crafting recipe for a dropper is going to be these 7 cobblestone blocks over the top like an N, and then 1 redstone in the bottom. You can see it looks a lot like a dispenser. The difference in the crafting recipe is a dispenser will have a bow in the middle. And what a dropper does in regards to the difference between it and a dispenser is a dropper always drops items out of it when it's activated as entities. So what it would look like as if a player were to drop it like this. Whereas a dispenser will eject certain items such as monster eggs or snowballs or arrows as the projectiles that they are, or as the monsters that they turn into. Droppers can also be used as the reverse of a hopper. A hopper cannot dispense items upward because it only gathers items upward, but a dropper that's placed upside down like this can actually dispense items up. And if you were to place multiple droppers pointing upward on top of each other and then activating them, you can actually push items upward like an elevator through the droppers. You can see you can also point it out towards you like so. The next item we have is called the Redstone Comparator, and this is also going to require a few redstone torches. Let's go ahead and make 3. And the Redstone Comparator is going to have your redstone torches in a upside down V, such as this. And then you're going to be needing a new item called Nether Quartz, which is found in the Nether, inside of a new block called Nether Ore, or Nether Quartz Ore. And that's going to be put in the middle slot here. And then we need 3 pieces of baked stone, not cobblestone. Cobblestone won't work. It doesn't work. You need your regular baked stone. You can take cobblestone and put it in a furnace, or you can mine stone with silk touch to get this. And that'll make a redstone comparator. And when you place a redstone comparator on the ground, you see it has an output, which is in this direction. But it can take 2 inputs. And it can also be changed by right-clicking. And what a comparator will do in the first mode is it takes input A and input B, and it compares the two. And if input A is the greater of the two, then the signal will continue down the line. We discussed in the first redstone items how the charge down a redstone line decreases over time. And so if the stronger signal is A, then that signal will continue. If the stronger signal is B, then that signal will continue. If you were to switch the comparator on like this, what it does instead is it takes input A and then subtracts input B, and then conducts that signal down the line. This can be useful for all sorts of different electronic devices, which at the moment I'm not fully read up on, so we'll discuss that as we get into some of the more intricate redstone devices. But it is nice to have the crafting recipe for right now. Our next item is a trapped box. What we'll need to do for a trapped box first is to make a tripwire hook, which that isn't the right recipe because I need wood. There it is, wood. And that's sorry, that was kind of quick. I didn't explain the recipe. Iron ingot in the top middle, then a stick, and then a piece of wood on the bottom. And then taking the tripwire hook and sticking it on the side of a chest will trap the chest. And you can tell a trapped chest different from a regular chest by looking right here around the lock. You can see that this lock is kind of a nice light brown, while this one looks more like a reddish or dark brown. And what a trapped chest will do is, when opened, it will send a redstone signal. Not the back, I believe. Nope. It won't. Just kidding, I had that right. When a trap chest is opened, it does send a redstone signal out in all directions. It just doesn't seem to be showing that while I am looking at the chest. Oh, I saw it for a second there. Yeah, you can see it turn off for really briefly there. I was right. I shouldn't second guess myself. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, right. I have no idea what I'm talking about most of the time. Don't listen to me. Okay, just kidding. Listen to me. Watch these tutorials and like them. Okay, next item is called the daylight sensor, which is also going to be using our new item of Nether Quartz, except I don't want it in there yet. A daylight sensor is going to be using our half slab blocks of wood all the way across the bottom, like this. And then you need to put another quartz in the middle row, and the top row is covered with glass. And what a daylight sensor does is it actually detects the amount of light that is hitting it, and then conducts a charge down the line equal to the amount of light that is hitting it at any given point in time. As you can see, our our light in this room, because it's only from glowstone and other light sources, isn't very strong. It runs out after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charges. Then we have an empty line. During full daylight, I believe the charge at noon is 15 blocks long. 15 or 16, I'm not entirely sure. It's one of those. And so as the sun goes down, the charge down the line will decrease over time. A daylight sensor can be used to do all sorts of cool little things with your redstone, such as set off an alarm when night falls, or when it's high noon, or when it's dawn, so that you know what time it is without having to leave your house. And I'm sure there's all sorts of other cool, interesting things that people have already invented. But as I said before, me and my redstone knowledge isn't entirely up to par yet. I'm doing the research so I can make those tutorials, but for now, that's all we need to know. The next item that we're going to make is a weighted plate. Weighted pressure plates are made with iron ingots and gold ingots, and they give us two different weighted pressure plates. The gold ingots give you what is called the light weighted pressure plate, and iron ingots give you the heavy. And these as well will create a redstone signal, just like the daylight sensor did. The difference between these, though, and the regular pressure plate is that the weighted pressure plates only react to items being placed on them as entities. So as I throw an item onto this block, you can see that it emits a charge. And as I throw a block onto here, it also emits a charge. If I remember correctly, a gold, the light pressure plate, conducts one charge further for every 4 items placed on it. I'm not entirely sure what the maximum is. I think it's like 56 reaches its full potential. The heavy weighted pressure plate, on the other hand, is considerably higher than that. I believe it's every 16 items. I'm not sure. But the maximum isn't reached until something like 568 items are placed on it, which is like 8 full stacks of items. But these pressure plates can be used to activate things when an item places an entity is placed on them, which I could think of all sorts of cool things you could do in adventure mode with that, such as you have to bring an item to a person and throw it on the pressure plate to activate command blocks and get it to do all sorts of cool things. But again, Redstone and me, we're not best friends yet. I'm still working on that. I've got a lot of cool toys that I play with, but for right now, we're just doing the recipes. The last couple things we have are pretty easy things to make. One of them is the quartz block. There we are. Which is just like any other block that you make, such as your gold block, your iron block. A quartz block acts just like a block of stone or a block of wood. You can make house slabs out of it, stairs out of it, etc. They also have a new recipe that you can make from quartz called the quartz pillar. I'll go ahead and show you what the difference between the regular quartz block and the pillar is. So here we have our regular quartz block, and next to it our pillar, which you can see it's really just a different tile set, but when you place multiples on top of each other, it actually looks like a pillar, which is nice for decoration. And the last recipe we have for this tutorial is the redstone block, which I've been waiting for so long because redstone comes along so much takes up so much space, and now we can condense it into much smaller spaces into this cool little block called a block of redstone. But a block of redstone has uses beyond that of regular other block items, in that it creates a charge. And not only that, a redstone block can be pushed and pulled with pistons, which means now we have a redstone power source that we can actually move to help turn things on and off. This can be used for all sorts of really cool redstone devices that I've already seen people playing with, one of them being the T flip-flop. And the smallest T flip-flop that can be made is now made with this block. Yeah, cool things you can do with this. I actually can't wait to get into redstone technology now because of that one addition. Anyway, that's our review of the redstone update and all the new recipes that are inside of it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more tutorials on crafting, there's links on the page right now. I believe this is the last crafting recipe tutorial I need to do right now, because I've basically gone over everything in past tutorials. So, in our general tutorials playlist, our next item of business is monsters, and mob drops, and mob items, and fighting monsters, and general combat, and all that good stuff, and you should see all sorts of cool little links popping up on the screen for those right now. Go ahead and check those out. Like this tutorial if it's come useful. There will be a link on the screen now to take you to the Redstone playlist for all the Redstone technology once I actually get to making that. So if it's not up there yet, then it means I haven't made it yet. But if it is on the screen, then I've taken enough time to study it out, and you can go check all that stuff out. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the page so that you can see updates when they come out. And other than that, thanks for watching, and have a happy time Minecrafting.